See this guy right here? This is Nikita Kucherov, and he just made NHL history, yet no one seems to care. Only 3 players in league history have had 3 consecutive seasons of 80 assists or more. Bobby Orr, Paul Coffey, Wayne Gretzky, and now Nikita Kucherov. Despite being tied for the league lead in points, he ranks last in terms of favorites to win the Hart Trophy among the 4 candidates. And even though we're just a few games away from the end of the regular season, we still don't have a definitive MVP. That is because this season, when you look at how each one of these men can single-handedly change the outcome of a game, we are once again watching one of the most fascinating MVP races unfold in front of our eyes. As the odds stand right now, there are technically 4 players in the running to be the MVP. Leon Draisaitl, Nathan MacKinnon, Connor Hellebyuck, and Nikita Kucherov. First, let's start with that man, the guy who finished last season as the league leader in points, yet still didn't win the MVP trophy. The reason why this guy can put up 80 assist seasons 3 years in a row is because of how deceptive and calculated he is before and during his puck touches. Kucherov may very well be the best player in the world when it comes to his first touch of the puck. And by first touch, think about how a soccer player receives a ball. Their first touch of the ball is usually flawless and sets them up for that next play. Same goes for hockey. How you control your first touch of the puck dictates how well you're able to make the next play. The most important spot to be good at this particular skill is along the wall, and it's why Kucherov has become the deadliest winger in the NHL. Take this forecheck here against the New York Rangers. So in on the forecheck first is Guentzel. Now 3 Rangers are going to swarm the puck, and Kucherov is going to hang as the high F2 here to come up and swoop in. Now before this puck even reaches Kucherov, the cheeky devil already knows he wants to find Brayden Point as the high F3 in front of the net. Now with 2 Rangers in close proximity to Kucherov here, this first touch needs to be instant and quick. There can't be any dust off of the puck. He's got to funnel it right away to Brayden Point. So what does he do? Takes a look, takes a peek, no dust off, and sends it tape to tape. Note how he doesn't just one-touch pucks into an area blindly either. He's always scanning to understand where the traffic is and where his options are. His ability to one-touch pucks on both his backhand and forehand is what makes him the most deadly power play player in the world. And that's why he leads the entire NHL in power play points. A lot of people may say he's a power play merchant, but when you watch this guy at work, everything is calculated. The bumper play that we've seen a million times between Kucherov and Point is all based off of the shot threat that Kucherov has. Every goalie, defenseman, and their mother knows that Kucherov can bomb one from the right side. With this shot threat and one-touch ability, he can build a volume of options for him to use on that power play. Against Calgary, watch Kucherov. He starts tickling the rafters showing shot. That's going to force this Calgary defender to flex out and block the shot. That is exactly what he wants. Brayden Point is wide open in the slot. One touch, bang, bang play, just another day at the office for both of those players. It's not just the bumper slot too. Watch how comfortable he is one touching this puck hard across the ice from this pass from Victor Hedman. His ability to take full power passes and control the velocity while keeping it flat is just unmatched. Just to show on the defensive side of things how hard this is to cover, both of those PKs use 2 different structures and they still can't solve Kucherov. First, Calgary is using what we call a wedge +1. So basically there's a triangle in the middle of the slot while that one attacker on the edge is trying to force them to one side of the ice. Tampa on this play is able to beat that first attacker. It spreads out Calgary, it gets them chasing a little bit, and all of a sudden that bumper spot opens up. Now Vancouver, as you can see here, plays a more box style of PK. So Tampa usually runs a 1-3-1 with Brayden Point in that bumper spot, but because of Kucherov's ability to one-touch pucks flawlessly across the ice, Tampa has the flexibility to pull Point out of that bumper spot and even put him on the wing like they do here. Tampa is going to create some movement up top, and Vancouver starts to separate as there's a seam in the middle of the ice, and Kucherov zips that pass over like it's a hot potato. When he has extended possession, this man is playing chess. Again, Tampa's in that 1-3-1 as usual here, and the Rangers are playing a diamond PK. Now with these 2 setups, we've seen that Tampa can take advantage of a down low and a cross play by creating a mini 2v1. So initial shot by Kucherov is blocked, but he takes the puck and instantly attacks the space left by the killer flexing out. As everyone starts chasing in desperation to not let him shoot from Main Street, Guentzel gets left alone by that right post. Kucherov finds him, and there's that 2v1 look that Tampa wants for the goal. The very next power play, watch Kucherov on this possession crawl up high above the top of the circle, shifting the Ranger diamond upwards. The pass down low is a trigger for Point on the far side to dive in, and would you look at that, another 2v1 look, and the puck is in the net. When Nikita Kucherov has possession, everyone is forced to play by his rules. Yet despite his brilliance, he may very well be the first player to win back-to-back scoring titles and not win the Hart Trophy since Jaromir Jagr did it 25 years ago. Now, almost the polar opposite in terms of play style is Nathan MacKinnon. MacKinnon's specialty is to ramp up the pace to a level that others simply cannot match. Colorado is without a doubt the fastest team in the NHL, and at the center of that and all the statistics is Nathan MacKinnon. The challenge for defending teams is that MacKinnon is a danger in his own zone. Centers are traditionally taught to go low and slow in the zone to provide their wingers and D with a support option. But the second that a puck is advanced up the wall or MacKinnon senses a turnover, he starts moving up the middle of the ice. Colorado wingers are aware, and if they can beat that initial pressure from a pinching D-man, MacKinnon gets the puck in full flight. Usually, Mac has already taken 2 or 3 hard strides prior to possession. But what's deadly about MacKinnon is that he's weaponized his speed in so many different ways. He can flat out cause you to over-collapse and then either attack the space himself or dish it to a trailing teammate. What's taken his game to the next level, though, is weaponizing his speed in an east-west fashion. As the Avs' team speed goes north-south, pushing teams back and forces them to sag, MacKinnon will anchor the blue line and then use his speed east-west to take full advantage of the gap created. This is a similar formula we've seen Ovi use to still score goals at 39 years old. He's got nowhere near the foot speed of Mac, but as the Caps' team speed drives teams back, he thrives in above the fold. MacKinnon is taking notes from the greatest goal scorer of all time, and it's why he may very well be repeating as the back-to-back MVP. The man, though, who's currently the favorite is still Leon Draisaitl. While a late season injury may hinder his chances, the league's leading goal scorer is a mix of power and finesse that just can't be matched. Goal scoring in general, though, has become less about power and more about accuracy and deception, as we see here from this Draisaitl goal. When in the O-zone, there's different categories of angles. Former NHL player Robbie Schremp explains this brilliantly. So category 1, the face of the net is very closed. You don't traditionally have many openings from this spot. But in category 2, from each spot, the face of the net gets bigger and more shooting options appear. So watch here as Draisaitl attacks the net. His body's going to stay in category 1, but the hands and puck stay in category 2. That throws the goalie slightly off his angle and Draisaitl buries. It's these subtle little details in how he releases the puck that makes him so hard to read. But then you add the dynamic of his size and how well he welcomes contact to make plays, then you have a whole other animal. Draisaitl's magic comes a lot through this stationary stance. Just looking at his body language, this is a visual cue for defenders to get aggressive. Legs are wide, he's on his backhand, and knees are barely bent. Now when defenders do get aggressive, he takes full advantage and makes a play. At 6'2", 203 pounds, he openly invites contact to make a play. Look at this one-on-one with Gustav Forsling. His eyes are up looking for options, but he's also reading that Forsling is closing in. So Draisaitl leans into the contact, drops his shoulder, and then gets his entire upper body between Forsling and the puck. As Forsling goes to shove him, he uses that momentum to slingshot himself out of the check, and it's just a slick finish to boot. His size and skill allow him to dominate any style of play. If it's a north-south fast style of game, he can use his speed and physical nature to take the middle of the ice. If he wants to slow some things down, he will invite defenders with his stance and use his size to initiate contact while propelling himself into space. By thriving at both speeds, Draisaitl is almost always in the right spot to put the puck in the net. Combine that with his deceptive release, and it's no surprise he leads the league in goals. Finally, you have Connor Hellebuyck. Hellebuyck leads the NHL in wins, goals against average, save percentage, and shutouts. According to Sportsnet stats, only 2 goalies in history have finished the season as an outright leader in all 4 of those categories, and both ended up winning the Stanley Cup in those years. For a stout defensive team like the Jets, it's further solidified by the calm and positionally sound play of Hellebuyck. As a goalie who plays deeper in his crease, Hellebuyck can effectively handle cross-ice plays. This allows him to only move a few feet to get across the zone as opposed to if he was super aggressive. Because of this, he's able to frequently beat any lateral passes and get set. On rush plays, instead of starting deeper in his crease and backing up, this is where most goalies end up rather than begin. By holding his ground instead of retreating, he only needs to make small lateral adjustments, allowing him to set his feet earlier. This extra time allows him to stay calm, still, and prepared in other ways that goalies can't. Hellebuck's position initially gives shooters the impression that there's more net available as they enter the zone and approach the top of the circles. He is willing to give up a little bit of net early on in exchange for being fully set. So as they close in, the available net behind him shrinks faster than it does against most goalies. The result is a goalie who's beating shooters both mentally and physically. All four of these candidates impact and dominate the game in their own unique ways. Whether it's patience, raw speed, brute strength, or just another position entirely, they are pushing the limits of greatness this season. But only one of them can take home the MVP by the end of the year, and who it is still remains a complete toss-up.